Hey guys, Sebastian here. This is the third and last video where I show you where to go on nice walks in Athens. The first video was in the Monastiraki and Psyri area, which are the neighborhoods of restaurants and shops. That video started from Monastiraki Square and ended in front of the Roman Agora. The second video was in the Plaka and Anafiotika area, which is by far the most beautiful part of town. That one started at the Roman Agora and ended just outside of Anafiotika. And at the end of that video, I was showing this, and I was saying that if you keep going straight in that direction, you'll reach the Acropolis Museum. Now, in this video, we're going to cover that area, which are the neighborhoods of Makrygianni and Thiseio. And in between, there's two hills called Philopappou and Pnyx. This time we're going to start at the Acropolis Museum and finish at the Thiseio metro station. So yeah, I made these three videos in a way that you can do all three walks consecutively in one shot. And if you plan on doing it in that way, the whole walk will be around 2 hours. All right, so here we are next to the Acropolis Museum. It's that modern building in the background. And by the way, you can see how long the line is to enter. That's why I keep repeating it's essential you book your Acropolis Museum tickets online ahead of time so that you can skip all of that. I will leave the link down below for that in case you haven't booked it yet and you plan on visiting the Acropolis Museum. All right, so we keep going straight for a while. This walkway is called Dionysiou Areopagitou, and it's one of the nicest, greenest walkways in all of Athens. After a few minutes, you'll spot this staircase on the right. Go up, and that will lead you to the facade of the Herodion, which is this fully restored amphitheater. It's part of the Acropolis archaeological site, so if you want to see it like I'm showing right now, you have to enter the Acropolis for that. All right, continue walking along the amphitheater, and very soon you'll be in front of this fork. If you go right, that brings you to the main entrance of the Acropolis, but in our case, we want to go left in order to go back to this walkway we were on earlier. And by the way, this marble floor we're walking on is super slick, so you definitely want to be doing this walk with nice and grippy shoes. No flip-flops, I'm begging you. All right, we've reached the end of the walkway, and this spot right here is where taxis drop you off and pick you up for the Acropolis. So if you plan on getting a taxi to be brought to the Acropolis, this is where you'll be dropped off. All right, keep going straight in the direction of this bar gate that stops cars from entering. And now here to our left-hand side, we have the Philopappou Hill, and to the right, it's the Pnyx Hill. And we're gonna climb both in this video. But before that, when you see this old church to the right, look left and you'll spot this little sign that says Socrates Prison. Make a left here, following the direction of the arrow onto this unpaved path, and after a few seconds, you make a right to head to these caves carved in the rocks. This is the so-called Socrates Prison, but I'm sorry to bust the myth. There's absolutely no proof that these caves were ever used as prison cells. This was basically the back of a large house during ancient times, and the rest of the house was built in front of these cliffs, using the cliff to give stability to the house. You can still see these holes up there. That's where the wooden beams were installed to support the first and second floor of the house. And these caves would just have been additional rooms in the back of that house. So yeah, not Socrates Prison, but still a pretty cool place to see. All right, let's go back the same way we got here. And just as we're about to be back on the main walkway, we make a left and start going up these stairs. Now, I won't lie, this is a little tiring, especially if you're doing this during the hottest months, but the view we're gonna have from up there is 100% worth it, so try not giving up. After climbing these stairs for 3-4 minutes, you reach this fantastic viewpoint. I mean, come on, look at this view. I'm going to leave the GPS coordinates of this place down below as well, in case you want to go there directly without doing the rest of the walk. All right, let's keep going. And we're headed to the very top of the hill now, from where the view will be even nicer. When you see this fork, make a right to continue going uphill. right once again at the next fork, and this will bring you to the Philopappou monument, which is a landmark you can see from anywhere in Athens because it's at the top of the Philopappou Hill. It was built in the 2nd century AD, and it's the mausoleum, so basically a very fancy tomb of Prince Philopappou, and that's where the name of the hill comes from. To your left, you have a whole panorama of the city with the Aegean Sea in the back, and to the right, there's a wonderful view of the Acropolis Hill. And from here, you have a perfect view of the Parthenon temple, and you can really appreciate how gigantic the building is compared to everything else. All right, time to go back the same way we came up. That's gonna take around 10 minutes. And by the way, in case you're wondering what all these trees are around you, these are olive trees. So if you're doing this walk between June and October, you'll see tons of olives in these trees. All right, we're back on the main walkway once again. This is the old church we saw earlier. It's the Saint Demetrius Loubardiaris church, built in the 9th century AD. I was actually planning on showing it up close in this video, but there was this baptism celebration going on for a baby, a Greek baby, and I didn't want to be the creepy guy showing up uninvited with a GoPro in his hand. So yeah, let's continue. And immediately you make a right at this fork where you see this Pnyx sign. Now there are multiple ways to get there, but the shortest one is to make a right here at the gate. I know that this looks like you're entering private property, but don't worry, this is all part of the public path. You won't get arrested, I promise. You keep going for a few more minutes, and this will lead you to a large open area. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the birthplace of democracy. This is where the ancient Athenians would gather every week to vote on stuff. This here is called the Vima, which is the platform where citizens stood to present their arguments and persuade the assembly to vote in favor of what they believed was best for the city. And that is where the crowd was gathered, listening to the people's arguments and then casting their votes. I'm going to leave the exact GPS coordinates of this place down below as well, because it's a really iconic one to go and visit. All right, you continue walking straight, and after a few minutes, you'll see this tiny building, which is part of the National Observatory of Athens. So basically, there's a big telescope inside, and this spot also has a great view of the Acropolis. Keep going straight until you reach this staircase to exit Pnyx Hill, and from here, it's all going to be downhill. So don't worry if you start feeling a bit tired at this point. You're nearly there. At this fork, make a left, and here you can admire the Marina Church, a Greek Orthodox church built in the 1920s. Here you have a quick left-right, and then at the bottom of these stairs, you make a right, and now we're entering the Thiseio neighborhood, one of Athens's greenest and most relaxed areas, even though it's really close to the much busier Monastiraki area. And at the end of this street, we're arriving onto the Apostolou Pavlou walkway, another very nice pedestrian walkway in Athens. But before going down there, let me show you a very hidden gem right here on this square. This cafe here has one of the nicest Acropolis views in all of Athens, with all the greenery around it as well. And most tourists have no idea it exists. Now, I recorded this on a Sunday, and so all Greeks were there having a coffee, but on a weekday, this place is completely empty. So yeah, really, really cool place to go. I'm going to leave the GPS coordinates of this place down below as well. All right, now back to the Apostolou Pavlou walkway. And this here is the start of the Thiseio flea market, open every day, and this is where you want to come and buy your local handmade souvenirs. And after a few minutes, you'll reach the Thiseio metro station, and if you keep going down for a few more seconds, you'll reach a crossing, and this street right here, that's Ermou. So if you walk in that direction for 5 minutes, you'll be on Monastiraki Square. All right, hope you enjoyed it. For the fantastic e-bike tour that covers everything we saw in this video, but in a much faster way than if you do it on foot, you can watch this video. And for the must-do boat tour in Santorini, you can watch this one. And there you go. That's it for today. Hope you liked it. See you in the next one. Bye.